Please click on the subscribe button so you get notified when the latest content drops. Now, let's kick it.
Nick Sorensen was hired to be the 49ers defensive coordinator. He has been on the San Francisco defensive staff since 2022 when he was hired as a defensive assistant. That same year, DeMeco Ryan was the defensive coordinator for the 49ers defense, who ranked #1 overall in the NFL. Prior to joining the 49ers, he had a brief stint in Jacksonville where he coached special teams, and also prior to that, coached the Seattle Seahawks secondary from 2017 to 2020. In 2020, he became the Seattle's nickel specialist, helping cornerback Shaquille Griffin earn his first Pro Bowl. And in 2017, coached the Seahawks secondary to only allow 209.2 passing yards per game. That year, they ranked 6th in the NFL in passing yards allowed. Sorensen began his coaching career in 2012 after playing 10 years in the NFL for multiple franchises as a safety and a special teams player. He was a special teams assistant in 2013 when the Seattle Seahawks won their Super Bowl. He has a combined 21 years of NFL experience as both a player and coach. Guys, to be completely honest with you, when Nick Sorensen got hired, I had to do a little bit more research and a little bit more of a dive in to see what my guy Nick Sorensen was about and what was he like. And to be honest with you, when they hired him, I didn't know whether to be ecstatic or to be hesitant. I personally wanted them to hire Mike Vrabel. I thought they were still working out something between Mike Vrabel and Bill Belichick. I thought they were doing something behind the scenes where they didn't necessarily have to interview. They would just get the job, and I would have been excited for that. But then that didn't happen, and we hired Nick Sorensen. When I started doing my research and I started to read more about Nick Sorensen, finding out where he had coached, his playing experience, uh, also the fact that on multiple teams that he's been part of their special teams program, there have been a numerous amount of punt returns, kick returns. I think 3 or 4 in his career, in his coaching career, while he's been a special team specialist. And to be completely honest with you, he was a part of the San Francisco team when we had the #1 defense under DeMeco Ryan. What we are missing is energy. I wanted Mike Vrabel because I feel like Mike Vrabel's energy would help us lift our defense up because that's something I felt we were missing under Steve Wilkes last year. Sorensen, maybe he has the right defensive, or maybe he has that energy that we're missing. But the reason why I like Sorensen is because he's been around elite defenses. He knows we've had issues with the secondary, and that's his area of expertise essentially. He played safety. He saw our secondary last year under Steve Wilkes. Our cornerbacks were actually pretty decent. I actually thought our secondary was better than they had been in years before. And with Nick Sorensen as the defensive coordinator, I could see our secondary maintaining that level of character in the upcoming year, and our defensive line, our front seven stepping it up. I think we have the right fit. He was there when DeMeco was there. He's been there for 3 years. He knows the culture. He knows the system. We're going back essentially. We're going back and forward at the same time. Hopefully, our defensive line can go back to being what it was the year prior, and our secondary can be better, like it can be better than they were this year because they weren't as bad. And we're also getting Hoof back. He's dealt with Earl Thomas. He's dealt with I think Cam Chancellor. He knows how to deal. He's coached Tyler Lockett. He knows how to deal with personalities and characters. So I am very excited for Nick Sorensen to be our defensive coordinator. I think our defense is going to take a step up. We're going to go back to what we were, hopefully, with DeMeco Ryan, and our secondary is still going to be elite because he's going to use some of the influence, I believe, that Steve Wilkes left behind because our secondary last year took a step forward. So Nick Sorensen, I'm excited to see him as the defensive coordinator for this San Francisco 49ers team next year and hopefully help us win a Super Bowl.